Hey guys, Big Geordie Geek here, and thanks for tuning in to see this battle report for Aeronautica Imperialis. I'm going to warn you straight off, it's not very good. I started this about 3 months ago, and it's taken a lot of time to get to this point simply because, I don't know, I'm not particularly happy with the way I'm doing battle reports. I'm still figuring out the skill, but I've learned a lot. And I think the next one's going to be a bit better. This game was really simple. It was just using the basic starter set, Wings of Vengeance. Very little, exploitation of things like the altitude rules and stuff. And yeah, it's alright. It was a fun game, but my report leaves a lot to it lacks a lot. So thanks for tuning in, and without further ado, we'll just get on with it. Okay, so looking at the setup for the game, we'll start with Megan. As you can see here on the screen, she is playing the Orks, and this is basically the Wings of Vengeance starter set. She has 3 Dakka jets, all armed with a pair of rockets, and she has 2 fighter bombers, also armed with a pair of 2 pairs of rockets. We decided not to go with any bombs or anything because we're just playing a dogfight. So moving on to me, you can see my handsome, well, not handsome, mug there. I have the 2 Thunderbolt fighters. They are armed with a pair of Sky Strike missiles. And my Marauder Bombers are also armed with 2 sets of Sky Strike missiles as well. So then we rolled off for initiative. We got double ones, which is, that's always convenient. We rolled again, and I won with 5 to Megan's 2. So I got initiative and was able to set up first. So I set up my first Thunderbolt, sort of here. I should have got a more overall view of the table to show where they were. In relation, but I set up my Thunderbolt here, altitude of 3 and a speed of 4. Megan set up her first Dakka jet with an altitude of 2 and a speed of 4. Coming back to me, I got my Thunderbolt, I'm putting it on, I'm going a little bit faster this time, speed of 5, altitude of 3. Megan's next Dakka jet is set up with an altitude of 3 and a speed of 5. Next up is my first Marauder Bomber. I decided to be a little bit cautious and keep its speed at 2, and its altitude is relatively high at 4. Megan's next Dakka jet is set up with an altitude of 3 and a speed of 4. My final plane is my last Marauder Bomber, which I set up on the right flank, and I'm setting this at 3 each, so a speed of 3 and an altitude of 3. Megan's first fighter bomber is set up with an altitude of 4 and a speed of 4. Now, for some reason, I didn't actually get a photo of Megan's last fighter bomber being placed, but she did place it on the opposite side of the board with an altitude of 4 and a speed of 6. So what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at how the first round went. On turn 1, I went first, having the initiative, and I moved my Marauder Bomber on the right. I increased my speed to 4. And I did a level flight maneuver going ahead 4 spaces. Megan then moves her fighter bomber on level flight and turns it slightly so it's got a nice sort of look at my Marauder Bomber there. I then unveil the maneuver for my Thunderbolt, which is going to be a snap turn, and I increase my speed all the way to the maximum of 6 and sort of end up in this little bit of a traffic James, as it were, here. Megan then moves her first Dakka jet. I've got 2 shots of this for some reason. She moves her Dakka jet for a full turn, a 3, and she moves a total of 4 spaces, having not adjusted her speed or altitude. my next move is to activate a Thunderbolt, and I'm moving this on a stoop, and I'm making speed 5 maneuver, and end up here facing a Dakajet, but not inside, but not quite at a good angle for me really. Megan's next Dakajet takes level flight, increases its speed to 5 from 4, and ends up facing the side of my Thunderbolt over there. My last Marauder Bomber, my 4th aircraft, is taking a speed 3, staying at altitude 4, and it's doing level flight. Megan's next Dakajet makes a turn and pulls up alongside the previous Dakajet, which had made a turn earlier, doing that at speed 6. Megan's last aircraft, her fighter bomber, makes a level flight and then turns right at the end to get right into the side of my Marauder, which is just fun for me, isn't it? So moving into firing, it's my turn to fire first, and I can't really do much. I select my Marauder Bomber thinking, oh, maybe I can get that Dakajet. It's not in my front arc. I was not entirely sure where my front arc was. So I ended up firing my dorsal turret at the fighter bomber. I needed to get 5s because we were on the same altitude level. I got a 5 and a 6, that's 2 hits, but I needed 5s to do any damage, and I did 1 damage, stripping off 1 structure point off the fighter bomber. Megan then uses her fighter bomber, shooting it quad heavy bolters. She gets 8 dice to roll, and she managed to roll 4 6s and a 5 for a total of 5 hits. Of those 5, she then rolls 2 hits onto my Marauder, needing to get 5s with the quad heavy bolter, doing 2 structure points worth of damage. It's then my turn to try and hit back, and I fire with the Thunderbolt that's stuck in the traffic lanes over here, and I strike at her Dakajet over there. That's a 7 hexes away, so that's a long range attack, and I get 1 shot, which I hit it on a 6, which is fantastic. And then I need a 2, which I roll a 3 to do 1 structural points worth of damage to her Dakajet. So we've added the structure point token on there. I'm sure I got an extra photo of that. And then Megan is attacking with the dorsal gun on her fighter bomber here, which, as you can see, she rolls like a true orc and doesn't hit a thing. None of my stuff can hit anything, so we move back to Megan, who's got a Dakajet, and she's going to shoot at my Thunderbolt fighter here, with her quad big shooters, only scoring 1 hit, which, when going to the damage phase, only scores a 1. In the end phase, looking at it, we've got going back there, we've got nobody stalling and nobody being tailed, so we just move straight into initiative and on to turn 2.
Okay, so at the start of turn 2, we roll for initiative, as you're supposed to, and I get a 6, Megan gets a 4, and that means I get to take the initiative in this first round. So let's have a look at the table as it was at the beginning of the round. So you can see we've got a couple of Dakajets at the top there, Dakajet and a bomber over here, fighter bomber that is, with my Marauder Thunderbolt, and then over on the right we've got a bit of traffic James there with a Marauder, a Thunderbolt, a heavy one. For my first turn, I hit my Marauder Bomber here. I take it, I increase its speed 4, and take it on level flight, just slightly adjust its facing here, thinking, yay, got some Dakajet in the there, but of course they've still got to move, haven't they? Then over to Megan's turn, and she takes this Dakajet down here, reduces its speed to 4, and just takes it on a nice, easy, gentle level flight between 4 spaces that way. over to me, and I take a Thunderbolt. I'm going to take it level flight, nice and boring, pretty much all we've had so far. It's probably at a speed of 6, which is what it's going to go. Get in front of these Dagger Jets, and you know, this looks exciting for me, but you know, they're not going to stay there, are they? Then control back over to Megan. He then moves this fighter bomber. She does a turn with it. She decreases her speed to 5. She does change her altitude to 3, which is the same as pretty much everything else on the board. And put her in an interesting firing position with her turret there towards my Marauder Bomber there. Lots of fun. So, back to me. And I'm taking, again, level flight, very, very boring. I'm taking this Thunderbolt right into this traffic James here. I reduce its speed down from 5 to 3 and get me right here, which I think is going to be fantastic, but I later find it up. Yeah, made a mistake. Back to Megan, and she performs a snap turn with her Dagger Jet, going 4, moving around the back and putting her right in the rear of my Thunderbolt there. So yeah, not going to plan for me, is it? So back to me. I'm going to do a turn with my Marauder Bomber here, and reduce the speed down to 3, and that puts me in the nice sideline of that fighter bomber. Again, I think this is brilliant at this point. You know? But yeah, we've got a nice classic traffic James, as the Dropkick Commander rulebook says, right in the middle here. So yeah. Megan then decides to give her fighter bomber here level flight. She's just going to skip to its speed of 4 and just flies along there, nice and gentle, like ending with that jet there. For Megan's final maneuver, she performs a stall turn with her other Dagger Jet, again putting it in the very rear of my my Marauder Bomber there. So needless to say, Megan got her maneuvers very, very right. So moving on to the shooting phase, because I have an initiative in this turn, I get to go first. So first I'll start by firing some missiles. I didn't get a photograph of this, and I fired a pair of missiles that failed to do anything. Now, what I said earlier, thinking I've got myself set up for some excellent stuff here, of course not having really properly read the rules of the game beforehand, I did not realise that my las cannons were only effective to medium range. But being close to Megan's fighters, my las cannons were actually unable to fire at all. And suddenly, oh no, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. So, for Michael, forward planning. So I then decide to fire my dorsal and rear turret. The bending Dagger Jet behind me, hoping, you know, I do something with them. Maybe they score one hit, and predictably, yeah, I roll a 1. Does no damage. Of course, unfortunately for me, because of that unfortunate lack of knowledge in reading the rules in regards to my las cannons, means that is the only shooting I am able to do this entire turn. So the rest of it is going to be Megan's. And she comes back by firing her Dagger Jet's big shooters into the rear of my Thunderbolt, scoring a total of 3 hits. And based on my luck in this game, that's 3 successful structure points taken off the Thunderbolt, which has, I can remind myself, oh yes, 3 structure points. So my luck is going great. But of course, Megan's excellent manoeuvring and planning did really well for her. So that's my first plane eliminated. Megan then fires her second Dagger Jet. It's the Thunderbolt just over there. And that gets no hits at all. yeah, the photo on screen is actually of the area where it was eliminated with those 3 successful hits. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, so that Dakka jet is firing. Oh no, sorry, it's firing to the back of the Marauder. This is what happens when you leave so long between filming, sort of taking photos and doing the recordings and actually putting the report together. Yeah, so no hits, which is a bit of luck for me. Fantastic. She does, however, fire a pair of some rockets into the thing, and she gets a successful hit there, which of course does damage. 3+, taking a structure point off the Marauder there. Next up, Megan fires the dorsal turret of her fighter bomber over there, and she gets 2 successful hits. Lucky for her. Unlucky for me, obviously. Fortunately, silly old me forgot to actually record, take a photo of the flicking dice roll after this, but she did take another whole point of the Marauder Bomber there. And was the end of turn 2. We move into turn 3, we roll for initiative. We roll a 5, not good enough because Megan rolls a 6. We start off with some tailing fire. Ooh, sorry for the fuzzy photo there. Megan scores 1 hit on the face with the tailing fire from the Dakka jet. You can see there against my Marauder Bomber, and I apologise for the awful photo there. However, that 1 hit does no damage whatsoever to me. Her first maneuver is to do a stall turn on the Dakka jet here. That moved 5. Over my turn, I use my Thunderbolt here and give it a stoop, increasing my speed up to 5, which puts me there. Still not good enough for my my las cannons, however, unfortunately. Back to Megan, her fighter bomber over here does a snap turn, travelling at speed 5. She puts it into there. It's not turning out to be her favourite maneuver. My Marauder Bomber then does a turn, ending up all the way over here, doesn't adjust speed, sticks with that speed of 5, and yeah, so I'm kind of hoping one of her planes is going to end up right in front of those last cannons. Please do. With Megan's other fighter bomber, she increases her speed to 5 and does a swoop. Yeah, he's right in the Marauder. It's not going to plan, is it? For my last Marauder Bomber, I decide to do a snap turn, having traveled free, do my snap turn, and yeah, it's a nice position right now, kinda, I guess, maybe. We'll see what the end result is. So back to Megan now. She does a stall turn. Again, her favourite maneuver. Puts herself right in the back of my Marauder Bomber there. So that's good for me, isn't it? No, not really, is it? And with her last Dakka jet, Megan performs a snap turn, which kind of puts her up there. Not really a position that she can do much in for her, unfortunately. Moving into the shooting phase, Megan's going to fire this Dakka jet over here. My Thunderbolt, which is always fun for me. She's at altitude 2, I'm at altitude 3, so she needs the 6s to hit. And look at all those 5, not one of them a success. That's good news for me, at last. Over to me, and I'm going to fire with my Marauder Bomber over there, with my dorsal and rear turret, and that jet behind me there. Only scored 1 hit though. However, when it comes to rolling for damage, not enough. Needed a 5-up. Megan then is shooting with the Dakka jet into the back of my Marauder Bomber there, and she scores 3 6s, so it's 3 hits. What about the damage? In terms of damage, she annoyingly got 2, so that's really putting a crimp in my plans. the head. She then fires some missiles and scores 1 hit. But, well, 2 hits, sorry. But neither of those do any damage to me. So that way. Over to our last plane that can shoot me. We've got the fighter bomber there firing at super shooters. My Marauder Bomber scoring a grand total of 5 hits. Not good for me, but she only scores 2 damage. So that's 2 structure points off my Marauder Bomber. And at the end of turn 3, this is the state of play. As you can see there, I've got a lot of damage on my Marauders, 1 undamaged Thunderbolt there. Not looking good for the Imperials, is it? So we're going to go into turn 4, and it starts with a hit, which is positive for me. I win that initiative roll. Will it do me any good though? Let's see. Well, we start off with tailing fire. Megan's Dakka Jet has its shooters into the of my Marauder Bomber, scoring a total of 3 successful hits. You only need 1 structure point taken off this Marauder Bomber to get out the sky. Does she get it? Of course she does. Yeah, she gets it. She gets that 5, knocks that Marauder Bomber out the sky. Just wonderful for me, really, isn't it? But no, she had to be fair. She played her cards right. She got it right. She knew exactly where she needed to be, and as usual, she is a very tactically minded person. So that leaves the board as it is at the beginning of turn 4. Tailing fire. I've got 2 planes left. Megan has all of her planes left. So I then decided to perform that stall turn, put myself behind that jet, hoping and praying that I will still have something in range at when this all over with. So then what happens is Megan takes her turn and she performs a swoop. It's in front of my Marauder, but obviously my Marauder is going to be moving, isn't it? My only other maneuver of the turn is a swoop with my Marauder Bomber, which I move to over here, well out of the way, I guess. Hopefully we're going to get something near that I can shoot at the end of this turn, hopefully. So it's now straight over to Megan. She's going to be doing all the rest of the movement phase, and she starts by doing a turn on her fighter bomber, putting it right in front of my Marauder. Just fantastic for me. She keeps the speed forward. She then performs a swoop with this Dakka Jet over there that's taken a single damage. Puts it in, so it's going to be right in able to fire with my Marauder. So that Marauder is in serious trouble. With her second fighter bomber, Megan performs another swoop, so putting it in a position where it could fire on my Thunderbolt over there. So again, very clever maneuvering from Megan. She then performs a stoop with a Dakka Jet over here, which doesn't really do much of the game that's going on there, but it's moved. With her final Dakka Jet, she performs another swoop, taking it off the range of my, firing out of my Thunderbolt there. So moving into the shooting phase, I've got my Thunderbolt there, which is going to fire its auto cannons. They're at short range, so they're only shooting 2, both of which miss. Moving over to Megan, she fires her shooters at my Marauder there, and she gets 6 fixes. That's plenty of hit. Now she only needs to hit me to do 1 structural point of damage here. Does just that, just the 1, but it's enough to knock my second Marauder out the sky, leaving me already a Thunderbolt. She then has another shooting turn where she shoots her fighter bomber, my Thunderbolt, but doesn't score a single hit on it, which is good news for me. She then decides to fire her rocket, but no dice. Oh, terrible photo. And she doesn't get me, so I still am remaining with my Thunderbolt in the game. Moving into turn 5. This is what the table looks like. Sorry for the slightly blurry photo there. And there's no turning fire, but moving. So Megan's got all of her planes left. Just got the one Thunderbolt. So rolling for initiative. Win initiative. For what that counts. So at this point, one of my options is to simply fire up the table. Unfortunately, there's no physical way that's possible for me to do so in this turn. And this will be, because of the rules of the game, the last turn. So instead, I decide to do a stall turn. Very risky maneuver. Push up my speed right up and move behind this fighter bomber. But I'm in a very precarious position right in the middle of the set of orcs, and this could backfire on me spectacularly. Let's see how it plays out. Megan's first two maneuvers, she takes a level flight with a fighter bomber and does a speed 4 snap turn with the Dagger Jet, putting it right in front of my Thunderbolt there. Megan then performs a snap turn with a fighter bomber and a snap turn with another Dagger Jet just down there at the bottom. Both those are not really endangering my Thunderbolt at all. The last Dagger Jet then just makes a simple turn, ending up there, unable to hurt me at all. So I've got the initiative to start shooting, so to shoot with, and I'm going to shoot the fighter bomber just further away because it's mid-range, so I actually get to use my port auto cannons and las cannons to their full potential. So I fire the cannons first, not a single hit with that. The las cannons get one hit, which is fantastic. So I then roll for damage and then score a 6, which is a structure point, but because of the las cannon, you get damage on a 6 plus that. Actually does 2 structure points, and the fighter bomber only has 3 structure points, which takes it out. So there we go. I actually finally shoot something out of the sky. Not totally useless in this game after all. So Megan's now going to shoot with her Dagger Jet, and she shoots them all at the Thunderbolt, getting 4 successful hits. She needs 3 structure points taken off it to knock it out of the sky and completely table me, but she only does 1 whole point, well, structure point off my plane. She then fires her rockets at me, all 3 of which hit. This could be dicey. I only have 2 structure points left. Thankfully, she only took 1 structure point worth of damage, so because she only scores on a 3-up, and lucky for me. She then turns to the dorsal gun on her fighter bomber over to the left there, shooting 3 at that range, and she does manage to score a hit. And if this is successful, it will knock me out the sky. It isn't successful. I stays flying, and that signals the end of the game. And at the end of the game, this is where we stand. Megan has 3 Dagger Jets left, 1 fighter bomber, and all I've got left is a Thunderbolt. So I think we can say that's a pretty decisive win for Megan there.
So that was the report. As I said, not great on my part. I know I've done made a lot of mistakes, especially with the rules. You know, pays attention to me to read them before I actually play the game. And most importantly, as I said, I'm still refining this battle report process, but I think I've got more or less a workflow down how to do it now. So hopefully we'll be back soon with another battle report, but a lot better, you know, in terms of how it looks and sounds and stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment, like, dislike, all appreciated, because it helps me know what I'm doing wrong and what I can do to do better.